So here we are in the proximity of the Sky Tree, this little building of 640 meters, and some tourists are enjoying a ride on a bike. I'm on my last day and I decided to have a relaxation time here in this area. With that being said, so would be nice to see how to do a video with the tour behind me. Then I was thinking the other day what would be a good explanations of motivations for people that want to enjoy and go on traveling, in order to help them probably better understand or figure out what would be more meaningful for them as a traveling experience, basically. And looking back to my own personal choices, I realized there are like a few reasons why let's say we as humans are generally interested to go in the touristic adventures, because I like to call them like a kind of a journey, like an adventure, because that's for most of the people, or the people I want to address with this blog, the motivation to go in such a trips. So now at the base of all of these aspects, there is one quality that's always required. Without this, it's impossible actually to make any step in this direction. And this actually quality is a quality of which is typical to an explorer. And what explorer does, he is curious about everything, curious about life, curious about others' life, curious or willing to try to see how you can improve your own life in various ways, which otherwise it stands for an important, let's say, feature, quality that is necessary in order for us to evolve as human beings. So I generally notice a pattern when it comes to traveling that I experienced. Now I'm 42, through my life, starting from the early times when I was more or less curious, not from my own personal reasons, but because I was listening to others. I got kind of brought into their stories, relating how they feel when traveling and so on. And there were two significant people in my family that influenced me a lot in this aspect. Actually, there were three, but I will start with my parents, because my parents are extremely important. My mother was one who actually suggests me that this is a nice thing to do, although she was not one of the person that traveled a lot compared to my father, who was really trying to size up any opportunity when he could travel to speak to other people. And in this case, I'm thinking he had quite a hard time to even speak English until later on in his life. And luckily, with the help of his job, he had the chance to travel the world. I would say especially Europe, not all of the world. And what impressed me is how much people were listening to him while he was saying the stories, sitting at a table with friends and so on. And that was for me inspiring to see this and the attention he would got for that. Okay, so that was a sort of a beginner's stage. And I said there were additional others, and mostly, as you know, we are strongly influenced by people that are close to us. One and another person would be a cousin who also was a very big explorer from a very early age, and who risked a lot of things in order to make up his life, and that involved a lot of traveling as well. And from this point of view, he was also an inspiring person to me. And the second and the third one would be like one aunt which I had, which actually was the sister of my grandmother. And she was inspiring to me that, you know, I'm coming from Romania, that in Romania it was very hard to travel during the communist time. You had a lot of restrictions, but somehow this woman find out a way to do it, and she was quite also impressive, and she was very influential in talking about all this experience she had. And what the other things I liked about her compared to my grandma, for example, she had a very easy way of life and of seeing things. And I think one of the reasons why she became like that, it was also influenced by her traveling experience. Or maybe, you know, it's kind of a cycle, of a circle. The more you travel, you become more accepting and more relaxed about different aspects of life. And actually, maybe people that are like this are already predisposed to do this kind of trips. So yeah, with this background, this was how this kind of let's say desire was igniting inside of myself, of my soul, of my mind. And yeah, that's how it all started. Sooner afterwards, then it became as a way of a challenge for me, because I wanted to try out to see myself how I would